Hold up, training in Thailand was a lie? I feel that there's a different reason why they go hard when you, a foreigner, comes to Thailand in their gym. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm gonna make this quick, won't talk too much. We'll jump into the video, but I'm really intrigued with all the training videos and we're gonna be diving deep into it. What's this truth in the Thailand training that he's gonna be talking about? Well, let's find out. Also, I want to mention, I don't know who this gentleman is. I kind of wanted to just see the video. The title intrigued me. But if you guys know, let me know in the comments down below.
Over the last 2 months, I've put in some hard, good, solid rounds with two separate guys who both have been in Thailand for an extended period of time. We're talking about being over there for like a year. They came back, they told me some stories about the training over there, what's really happening, and a lot of it might actually surprise you. You might go, oh my gosh, I thought these guys in Thailand were doing this, but they're actually doing this.
So Buddy didn't even go to Thailand to train. He's hearing it from a source, from his friends. Okay. I mean, the belts in the background made me think otherwise, but I guess it's gonna be his opinion from a friend's opinion. Gabriel Varga. All right, world champion. Let's see what he has to say. He hasn't been doing it in Thailand, so.
I've been putting in some good solid rounds with two separate guys who have spent an extended period of time in Thailand training. When they were down there, they fought a lot. They're some of the few foreigners who are going there who are taking it seriously, really trying to make a fight career. They came back, got some training with me, and they're just saying, look, Gabriel, the things you think about Thailand, the things that many of you guys expect from these high-level fighters, the intensity that they train at, it's just not true. So today we're gonna break down some Thailand training myths.
Okay, I'm intrigued to see what these myths are. And for the people who actually trained in Thailand, like did Muay Thai and kickboxing, I'm really interested to hear about what you guys have to say, because this guy is grabbing a source from a person that was there. So I don't know if I'm gonna believe most of it, but we'll see. And I'm interested into hearing actually what you guys have to say.
Today we're gonna be talking about the best fighters, the best Muay Thai fighters in the world. These guys that you look at, you revere, you respect, and you think they train so crazy hard. But some of these stories that I'm going to tell you today might make you think again and might change your perception of how people over there are pushing themselves when they have fights coming. But before I share these exciting stories with you, I want to take a moment, thank the sponsor of this episode, X Marshall. These guys have some stellar gear, super fun, a little bit lighthearted, which I absolutely love. X Marshall, there's a link in the description below.
Yo, those are always
head
fire.
over there, use my promo code Gabriel Varga to save 10%. So the very first thing that I want to talk about today is the running, which they do in Thailand. Because when I was there, and granted, I was there in 2008 for 10 weeks, but I was a little surprised.
Okay. So he has been to Thailand, but he just said he hasn't been to Thailand and he heard this from a friend. Or am I mistaken?
Because when I was there, and granted, I was there in 2008 for 10 weeks, but I was a little surprised at how little they ran compared to what I heard. What are normal kilometers that you hear when you look up on the internet and you go, oh, how far would Sanchai or Bokao or some of these guys run per day? Well, a lot of times you'll look up and you'll see in the morning they run a 10K, and then they get to the second training session later in the afternoon and they'll do kind of like 5 to 8.
Isn't that all based upon like personal like preference on that individual? Like the way I trained isn't gonna be the same as anyone else who trained. Like the way I had my training sessions are gonna be totally different, you know?
Didn't see that. One time when I was in Thailand and I was at 4 gyms. Somebody came back recently from Thailand and was telling me, oh, you know, my body's wrecked, my hips are so sore. And I said, man, you must have been putting in the good kilometers over there like those guys from Thailand. He went, no, they're not running like that. In fact, and this is the funny part of the story, he said the trainers over there, because he was behind the scenes, he actually sort of got brought in as an actual Thai fighter, not a foreigner. He said, you get to see them and the trainers will actually laugh when they send foreigners out for these big 10-kilometer runs. In addition, you have to recognize that the fighters, they're not doing this whole big 10-kilometer loop. They'll kind of run up a little bit and cut through the forest, or they'll run up a little bit and then stop, take a little break, and then kind of walk back.
You have to be basing this on the individual that's training, because I believe if you're taking corners, if you're cutting and you're doing those cheating exercises, you're just gonna see that in the ring. I believe that's what separates like a legendary fighter to the non-legendary. And if they're already in that legendary status, or they've shown that they can perform at a high level, those little things, I feel like those those are just foundation like exercises. That's something to get no quit attitude in you, or the mindset that like, even though it's hard, I'm gonna keep going. So if you have that mentality and you've developed that already, unless you need the cardio, there's no reason to really run. Just do high intensity training in the gym, kick at a higher intensity. You can kind of train smarter. They could also be like, maybe it's not good on your knees, maybe the running and the hitting on the ground. Who knows why they reduced the running? Maybe they did it back in the day like an old school style. Maybe the different trainers, different perception on how to train properly. There's so many different reasons on why you don't do certain things.
Depends apparently if the trainer is there on his bike or scooter or if he's not, but these fighters have ways around doing this big enormous run, and the trainers are really only there to watch the foreigners or maybe push the guys if there's a fight coming up. But this to me was just shocking, because one of the things that I saw when I was in Thailand was running with WOOOOO, and all of a sudden I heard this psst, and he was in the bushes and he told me to come through, and he showed me the shortcut to get to the other side. And I went, what the heck? I thought this guy would be a training beast, and this guy's taking little cheat routes.
But he is a training beast, because when he's training on the things that he needs, he's going to explode. I don't think anyone's like, yo, I'm gonna run because I enjoy just running around in a circle. I'm gonna go to a Muay Thai class and, oh, they're asking me to kick targets. Nah, let me go run around. Obviously, you're gonna have more fun doing one drill than the other drill. And just because you're like whispering to him, come through the bushes, it's your training. You don't have teammates in the ring. Whatever you do in the gym, you get out of it. So if someone's asking you to cheat, or you're getting told, hey, come here, let's go on a shorter route, you can choose, yeah, I'll go cheat with you, but I can also say, no, I'm gonna do the full thing because I wanna improve. There's people that will cheat in their drills, and there's people that won't. That doesn't mean that you get to say, oh, because he cheated, everyone cheated.
And this was reconfirmed, re-emphasized when one of my training partners came back and he just said, yeah, nobody runs like what the foreigners think Muay Thai fighters do, and they get there, they're all ramped up to run. He just said, Gabriel, the reality is, these guys do that when they're young. But when you stop and you think about it and you go,
it's a foundation
why
exercise.
do so many Muay Thai fighters stop training, or stop fighting at such a young age? He said so many of them have destroyed bodies. They can't go anymore because yes, when they're younger, they're doing those big kilometers. As they get older, then they start to take these little cheat routes, and the people who do that and pull way back on their running have long careers.
Okay, so that's exactly what I said. There's certain ways to like train smart and to just train to train. So as time goes by, everyone's trying to figure out what's the best method of training. This guy has been doing hardcore running, and it's hard on your hips because I don't know the angle of the hill, the different terrain. You're just gonna look at him like, I don't want to look like that. I don't want to feel like that. So I'm just going to avoid that and do something else. So I feel like it's all preference. It's all different between each individual fighter and what they need. Maybe they need the running, maybe they don't, but it's hard to like point at one person and say, well, you did it this way, so that means it's not like that in Thailand, or it's 2008 Thailand and you're comparing it to like 1990 Thailand. Like it's different times, different eras. Everything always changes, and it just kind of like it gets reevaluated. There was a time where I went to the newer generation and went, wow, you guys are doing such easy training sessions. Like we used to go hardcore, but I'm also really broken and injured, and they're probably not.
The people who do not get to continue past a certain age. He said a lot of times it's just the early 20s. They've destroyed their body so much with these long runs that they can't continue. So who's doing the big runs over there? It's the younger fighters and the foreigners. The experienced guys are not doing it. They know it's too hard on their joints.
Yeah,
this is something that you should
100%.
take into consideration the next time you go, oh, okay, I have a training camp coming up and I need to run 10K 4 or 5 times per week. It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and if you're getting told just to go do it, and you're kind of like, I don't think this is going to help me, I think that's like you on the individual. And also, like, you should be communicating with your coach. Your coach should be wanting you to have like a nice long career. So I feel like having that communication or having that barrier broken down so that you can talk to your coach or trainer and let them know like what you feel like you need, because your trainer, your coach is trying to do the best for you, but sometimes he doesn't know. Sometimes you just go like, damn, bro, like my knees hurt. Can we do something else? Or I don't know if I can keep going, my ankles hurt. You know, that's the one thing that I regret, is I always said yes to everything, and therefore now my knees, my elbows, my hands, my feet, you know, they hurt a lot more because I just pushed through the pain instead of trying to realize, hey, is this good for me in the long run?
Body. The next thing which I want to talk about is the training intensity. And the reason I asked one of these guys who had just come back from Thailand about the training and intensity is I said, look, I know that Sanchai is just around the corner from Fighting Bokau, and he was just touring around the US doing all these seminars. Why wasn't he there training? He said, Gabriel, look at, these guys are so experienced and they're so chill about training until the last 3 weeks before a fight.
But like, again, these guys are legends who have long careers, okay? And the way I look at it is you're comparing someone who's gonna start training, someone who has been training for a little bit, and someone who's been training and competing for like majority of their life. If someone saw me in the Taekwondo gym, I won't be focused on the same kind of drills or techniques as like maybe the newer people that are in the gym. As I'm doing it, I understand like how my body functions. I've already had a good foundation base. And I feel like when you start to understand like what you like to do in the ring and you understand like your tactics a little bit more, you generate a toolbox, as I mentioned all the time in the video, that you kind of just know what you have to work for. You know how much energy you have to spend. You know how your body feels. Oh, today's not really a good day for me. I'm gonna still be here, give 50%, but I'm gonna be training something different during that time to make up for that 50% decrease in intensity or something. And in that case, it's like someone could look at me and be like, oh, you know, this guy isn't training hard. How is he supposed to be a bronze medalist in the Olympics if he's not putting 100%? Well, my 100% is going to be different than your 100%. Sometimes people need to do the foundation of the running, the intensity in the training, or get pushed because maybe that's what they need to break that mental barrier and to get that confidence. And some people already have that and they're just kind of more relaxed in the fact where I just need to be at my top shape and sharpen my tools. And when it's closer to that fight day, I'm just gonna really make sure that I'm kicking and I feel good.
These experienced guys that you see, they're not doing a full training camp like you would. They're just there, they're around, they're kind of do some light stuff. Their timing's always good and they ramp it up for a very short period of time. So this idea or illusion that these guys are there training all year long, pushing themselves, doing big kilometer runs, training hard, grinding away. He said, no, it's not like that.
I mean, they still grind and train hard. They just train and grind differently than you're training hard and grinding. Basically, the way I would like to say it is that you cannot compare any individual in training and their training methods because everyone's gonna be a little bit different in how they approach training. And there's gonna be someone who's more experienced and veteran where they're allowed to make a little bit of a, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna run a little slower, I'm gonna run behind, I'm gonna go run through the shortcut in the woods because they can. What's the coach really gonna say? Like, you're gonna lose, buddy.
This guy had been at numerous large gyms with big fighters and he just said, you see them, they're not pushing themselves the way you think they would, but maybe that's one of the reasons they're able to extend the longevity of their fight career. The next thing which was mentioned and was reconfirmed, I said, how's the sparring over there nowadays? Because when I was there, I had my perception of it, and I was a little surprised because if you go sparring in Thailand, you type that in on Google or YouTube right now, you're gonna find some guys, they're just gonna be kind of playing around. And then I went over there and I was like, wow, these guys box really hard. And I said, is that still happening? They said, yes, absolutely. 18-ounce gloves, head you're on, and boom, these guys are fighting. Now you might not see somebody like Sanchai, these guys who are super experienced, who have this impeccable timing doing that, but they said, yes, if you go over there, be prepared to go through hard boxing rounds. And while it's not always the prettiest, it is definitely something that can happen.
I feel that there's a different reason why they go hard when a foreigner, comes to Thailand in their gym. That's something you'll see in Korea as well. I'll go to a gym and I would just basically, you know, you go in with your team, your squad, you're like, all right, I'm in Korea, I'm here training, and you go into their home turf. They're not gonna let you train harder than them in their own gym. So they put up sparring and they're just gonna beat you. Not because, you know, that's how they train or spar every day, but because, hey man, you're a foreigner and we're gonna beat you. That's how I took it. And that's how I got knocked out in Korea, is because, you know, you go into their home turf, you go in, you start sparring, they're gonna be there to knock you out. And that's basically success for them. And then you leave, who knows how they spar between each other? You know, they could just be taking it easy, because I know when someone comes to our gym and someone is getting ready to spar and we do that sparring drill, yeah, I'm there to like, hey, I ain't gonna give you an easy time. I'm not gonna be there and like lightly tap you. I'm gonna make you feel it.
The last big thing which was sort of brought to my attention is how westernized the whole experience in Thailand has now become. You're gonna see this whole, I guess, image of what Thailand looks like and how you're gonna train and you're gonna be with the Muay Thai fighters. But so many of these gyms have been so westernized that now they don't have a massive staple of fighters. Or even for myself, back years and years ago, we're talking 15 years ago when I was there, the first thing I wanted to do was test myself. I wanted to do some sparring and some clenching with these high-level fighters, but they weren't really going with all the Westerners. And it was only after a month of being there as they saw my skills where they went, yeah, we'll let him spar.
Yeah, see, because they don't like you. They don't like foreigners or Westerners. They look at us and being like, yo, why are you here, bro? Like, why are you here? Go home. We don't want to help you. You know, we don't think you're good enough to even spar with us. Then, like he said, a month later, they see you and they go, oh yeah? They're not asking you to spar because they think you're good. They go, oh yeah, you think you're good? Yeah? Yeah, you think you're hot shot? Think you're Mr. Big? Huh? You think you got something to prove? Well, come here. I'll spar you and humble you. They're going to make sure that you understand that you don't belong there. And that's how I view it.
And then I got the opportunity to actually work. But there's this separation between the Westerners who are there to make money, right? They're gonna make a lot of money off them, and then the Muay Thai fighters who are actually from Thailand who are doing their thing. So they're gonna be separate.
That makes sense to me.
If you're thinking you're gonna go and you're gonna get to train with these guys, you might have to think again. That was something that was told to me, and I believe that. Of course, there are some gyms that are gonna be different than others, but in general, many of them have become very westernized unless you're gonna go and find kind of a gym that's way out in the middle of nowhere and you're not gonna be having big names there that you know. Then it's possible you might get to train with those guys.
Yeah, like I said, I got knocked out in Korea for this exact same reason. I was training hard the first 2 days. Like, I was exploding, bro. I was feeling so good. This is like the end of our Korea training camp, and we've already been there for like 6 weeks. We have 2 more weeks, and we've been going hard. I felt good, felt light. It's first time in Korea, and I was kind of like thinking, yo, is this it? Is this the hard training that people were telling me about? Same way that he was told that Thailand training isn't hard anymore. I got told the same thing, like, oh man, like, dang, I thought this was gonna be hard. They see you train, they see that intensity, and they go, yeah, you think you're hot? Huh? You think you're good? Well, let's spar. And I got knocked out, and that was it for me. I just waited on the sidelines after that, because you can't really fight after a concussion, right? And then I just waited to go home, and I was like, damn, I just got beat.
But this is just something that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention because many people have that dream of going to Thailand and training. They also think very often that, oh, I have a fight coming and the guys in Thailand are doing this, so I have to do that or more. That was my mindset when I was younger. I was
feel that's
pushing
everyone's
myself,
mindset.
destroying myself, like literally so damaged that at one point I had to take 6 months off because my body was destroyed.
Okay.
And then you start going there and you're seeing somebody like a Muay Thai legend like WOOOOO training, you go, they're not training the way I thought I had to train. So yes, there are times to push, but yes, there are times to dial back.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you have to understand, as well as that you can't compare with just the myth of training or like what people say training is like, because everyone experienced training differently. So one could be like, oh no one's training all hardcore around me. I don't see anything hardcore. And then another time you can be like, oh my goodness, I will never become a champion. You just see how they kick pads and how intense they're training in front of you, and you're like, damn, that's what it takes? I guess I should just quit now.
And focus in on other things other than destroying yourself with crazy long sessions and going for crazy long runs day after day after day. This episode was just to educate you, hopefully to help you stay safer and to let you know what to expect if you do end up going for a trip to Thailand. Let's call it there. Thanks for joining today, guys. As always, train hard. I will see you back here soon for another video.
Honestly, that's a great video. I know I'm trying to counter everything he's saying, but I agree. I agree with everything he says. You cannot compare yourself with others and try to train just like them. There's a reason they're training like that. Or when someone's telling you certain things, they're probably telling you what they used to do. And if you're taking that fully to heart and being like, I'm gonna copy exactly what they're doing and do it more, you might be doing more harm, okay, to your body, just like how I did. My coach saw the way that the Koreans trained. He took that philosophy, brought it back to Canada, and we got pumped with it. The only thing is, do they train like that all the time or only when foreigners come to Korea? So one of the things I wish my coach did is that he took care of our bodies a little better and didn't make us go through that kind of intense training where we're down and out for the count. We can't do any more. There's no reason to keep continuing. But I agree, great video. I hope that everybody does understand and learn that training methods from the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, now 2020s are all going to be different and change over time. So really take care of yourselves when you're training, recover well, eat well, and really remember that it's the longevity of your career rather than sacrificing just to be a champion one time. So I hope you guys enjoy this content. I love these training videos. It gets to let me know a little bit more about the sport and how it functions. So if you guys enjoyed today's content, remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be talking to you guys in the comment section and hearing what you guys have to say, but I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers for now.